Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, Johnny Low Roller is at it again, folks. Yes, Jimmy Low Roller is at it again. You guys know him probably as JxMyHighroller. I know him as Jimmy Low Roller because this guy is maybe the biggest clown on social media when we're dealing with sports, right? Has to be Jimmy Low Roller, who has no knowledge about the NBA apparently when he puts out videos like this one. And we're going to talk about it. You know, I don't know why he went back and talked about this. It's like, oh, this is what the LeBron James fan base and, you know, his butt lickers do. All they do is keep saying the same stuff about Michael Jordan, and then they keep saying the same stuff about LeBron James, protecting him and making up these narratives and lies. It's the same stuff. We done heard it. That's why I had to get out the Facebook groups, because they would say the same stuff after you debunked it. Guess what? Another dummy will come 6 months later and bring up that same lie or that same narrative. It get debunked. 6 months later, here comes some more dummies saying the same stuff. You know, couldn't win without Pippen. 1-9. Couldn't beat, you know, Detroit and who is this? Everybody got old. Magic got old. Detroit got old. The Celtics. Everybody got old. That's what they would say. They couldn't win without Phil Jack. All this stuff. After you debunk all this stuff, some more dummies would just come back around, because the name of the game for them is, you know, poking at the Michael Jordan fans, right? Antagonizing the Michael Jordan fans, right? That's all it is. They can't come with no facts. They know most of these guys ain't even LeBron James fans. Remember, LeBron James set this whole thing up. If I can't win and be up there, I ain't gonna just say LeBron James. You gotta blame the NBA too. This is the product that they have put forth for their future. The past 10 years or something like that. This is the product that they've been pushing for the league. LeBron James. Before that, you had winners. You had Kobe Bryant. You had Shaq. You had Michael Jordan, and, you know, Hakeem and the Tim Duncans and the Birds and the Magics and all these great guys throughout history. Even if they didn't win, you could say they cheated the process, right? You can't say, oh, they cheated to get where they was, or, you know, when they got there, they just kept messing up, melting down, getting destroyed again and again. You really can't say that. You really can't say any of these guys in the past in the top 10 don't have great, you know, positional skills at a high level. You can't say that, right? All those things you can say about LeBron James. His career is fabricated and it's all made up. Look, bro, you was a good player. You wouldn't be great in the past eras, but you was a great player in your era. So overall, I can say he was a good player. He wasn't a great player. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about what he can't shoot free throws, he can't shoot the mid-range, he can't shoot threes. And don't give me, you know, the couple past seasons and he shoot them better than Michael Jordan. No, he didn't shoot them better than Michael Jordan. When it counted, he did it, right? In the finals and stuff like that. He didn't do it when it counted. He didn't do it then. So no. Everybody else in that top 10, even top 15, whatever, it ain't about being in the top 10. The guy should have took his L and said, you know what it is? His career is like a lesson. It's like a lesson to children. This is what happens when you cheat. This is what happens when you don't work hard. You know, we could say in general a life lesson, but especially in sports and basketball, he's not something that we've been told he is. First of all, he's not a leader. He don't make nobody better. He's got to go play with other leaders. That's the number one thing that, it's a lot, but I'm just saying that's one of the things. Him always going playing with other leaders all of his career in his prime, again and again and again and again. And when does it stop? And if you did, you did, but you can't be on that GOAT status like that. You're not a leader. You're not a leader. We all know you're not a leader. You had to go play with other leaders. But, you know, so let's get into this right here. What this Jimmy Low Roller? Let's really get into this. So this story was out a long time ago, and Jimmy Low Roller decided to bring it back up that LeBron James, when he was a sophomore, if I ain't mistaken, ended up playing with Michael Jordan. I think it was Ron Artest, and a couple of other NBA. I think what's his name? He was in there. Paul Pierce was even talking about this. I don't know if Paul Pierce was in there. I think Antoine Walker was in there. And how LeBron James, I think he talked about this not too long ago. Wasn't this on Pat McAfee show, right? When he talked about this, and everybody knew he was lying. But And I think he talked about how, they collected the tapes. I don't know if LeBron James said this part, but he talked about, this whole situation. But a lot of people were saying back then that they confiscated the tapes because of what he did to Michael Jordan. Some nonsense, whatever, man. But anyways, a sophomore in high school came in there and dominated 90s. Oh, yeah, Penny Hardaway, 90s and early 2000s players when LeBron James was a sophomore. So I want to say this was, I don't know, what was it, like 2001 maybe? When Jordan was making his comeback, if I'm mistaken. But this is what we gotta ask ourselves first, folks. This wasn't an event that, this wasn't a camp or nothing like that. It's just LeBron James had access as a sophomore to play against Michael Jordan and the rest of these famous NBA players, if you will. Yeah, they're famous. They're in the NBA. They're the best in the world if they're in the NBA, especially back at that time. How did this guy get this kind of access? They never told you this, folks. How did he get access to Michael Jordan? How did he get access? Nobody wants to talk about that. LeBron James, remember, LeBron James, he's a sophomore. He's not a junior. He's not a senior. You know what I'm saying? It's not that senior hype that he was getting, or he had every game on TV his senior season. This is a sophomore, folks. Well, before we go any further with this story, we've already come out with LeBron James' fake childhood story, or rather his real childhood story, debunking his fake childhood story. The fake childhood story was that he grew up in Akron, poor all of his life, right? That's what he wanted to make it seem like. But, and then they want to make it seem like, oh no, he just, he ran into, he started staying with his head coach in high school. That ain't what it was, folks. The fact is, he started staying with a rich family since he was in the 5th grade. The guy that he stayed with, the mother worked in the Congress. She was a Congress person. Okay, they were rich. This is why when LeBron James was in high school, they saw him driving around in Hummers, right? Not because somebody gave him some money, to go to college or something. You know how college recruiters was crooked back then, whatever like that. No, folks, this guy was rich. Ever since he was 5 years old, he was taken from his mom. I like to say his mom sold him, right? I like to say his mom sold him. We don't really know the real story, the real story, but his mom gave him away to some strangers that liked the way he could run down the street. This is weird. His mother went to go live with some strangers. First, his mother let him go stay with some recovering alcoholic that used to be a football coach for children. And he saw LeBron James running down the street. And he said he liked the way LeBron James, this is 5th grade, folks. What's this, like 9 years old, something like this, 10? So he wanted LeBron James on the team. I'm trying to talk to you guys. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was like, I like talking to my subs as I'm talking to you one-on-one, as a person, as a man, as a woman. If you're a woman watching my channel, on a personal level, not as somebody that comes on YouTube and acts like a character, right? Not somebody that comes on YouTube and say, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification. No, I'm talking to you like a real person, right? On a real person level, right? On a human level. So, yes, LeBron James' mother let LeBron, I don't know what the word is. It's weird. If my mother said, you're going to live with this recovering alcoholic coach that likes the way you run and wants you on the damn Pop Warner football team, whatever it is, I would say, mama, what you doing? I'm not going to stay with this dude. I'm not going to stay with this dude. I'm not going to stay with the dude. And I think the story was that, she at first she was bringing him to the practices or whatever like that, but she was always late. She didn't have the money for the equipment, all this crazy stuff. So he went to go stay with the coach, the recovering alcoholic coach. LeBron James went to go stay with him. And I guess he had a wife. And then LeBron James' mom would come over there all the time and cook, right, for her son, because she just dumped her son off with some damn strangers. Why? What are you doing? Huh? You just dumped your son off with some... This wasn't a college coach, folks. This was just some random dude from the streets in 5th grade that liked the way your son runs. That's creepy. No. So anyway, she was going over there cooking him dinner. This is what the lame story was. And then I think it got inconvenient. So she moved in. She moved in with the coach and the coach's wife, and LeBron was there. And then the story goes that the whole thing just like blew up. The wife didn't like it no more. And then they had to move out or whatever like that. But the coach ended up putting LeBron James on the hookup with the coach he would go, live with or whatever. It's just a stupid story that makes no sense. It makes no sense, but they want you to believe this nonsense. But we do know that LeBron James had been living with that family since the new family, not the recovering alcoholic, but the new family ever since he was in 5th grade, right? A rich family where since middle school, he went to Catholic private academy schools that cost tens of thousands of dollars to go per year, okay? Who would do this for somebody's son? Who would take somebody's son off the damn streets in the 5th grade just because you like the way he can run down the damn streets? This story makes no sense. Ain't that just a coincidence that not only that, what's his name? Rich Paul lived in Akron too. And his father owned the business. Rich Paul ended up going to college. I guess he made good grades, and I don't know. But he ended up going to college in Akron or whatever like that. Or wherever he went to college. Come on. They been knowing each other, man. That little bullshit story they told you a long time ago where he met him selling jerseys out the back of his trunk at an airport when LeBron James, I think he said he was going to the draft, came back from the draft or something like that. This story is the dumbest story you ever heard. Rich Paul grew up with money, right? LeBron James grew up with money. LeBron James was the biggest thing in Akron by the time he was in high school. So, yes, of course, the mingling and the rich boy status of both of them, they already know each other a long time ago, okay? A little rainbowish to me, but I'm gonna just go ahead and leave that alone, you know what I'm saying? But so I'm just saying, this is how LeBron James was able to meet Michael Jordan, was able to scrimmage with Michael Jordan, Ron Artest, and all them. Not because he was this great player. And I'm gonna show you how great he was. That in this story, that Jimmy Low Roller, the real story that he's leaving out. So, check it out. So because LeBron James grew up rich ever since he was in 5th grade, and that's why I keep trying to tell you in this story that I told you when we talking about LeBron James' real life in that video I did. That's why he acts the way he acts, folks. Somebody who grew up poor, right? Especially the way he acts like he grew up poor. This is a mentality you would either have, right? If you grew up poor, you grew up in the hood, especially back then, either you're gonna be acting thuggish, right? Or you're gonna be acting like what's the word? Or you're gonna be acting like, you got some sense. You're gonna be acting like you're thankful. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna take things for granted. You're gonna be like that. But LeBron James don't act like either of those things because he didn't grow up poor ever since he was in the 5th grade. So if somebody took me from my parents when I was in 5th grade and I finished until 12th grade when I retired, that's considered growing up poor? Not for me. I remember going to middle school, high school, poor. Okay, LeBron James didn't have to do that in middle school and high school. Okay, and because his athleticism and him being rich probably excused all of his bad grades in school. That's probably why he didn't go to college. He couldn't pass the test. That's something that somebody put out a long time ago. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one alone. But yeah, that's why he was able to get close to Michael Jordan, because of his status, who he knew. The woman that was the husband of that guy he was staying with was who? She was a congressperson, right? So he was in high status. That's if we want to even believe a lot of this story, man. His mama could have gave him away when he was a baby or something like that, and kept in touch with those people who raised him. For all we know, I'm being serious, because she had him at like 16 or something like that, 15, 16. So she could have gave him away to those people, and they could have raised him for all we know. And she could have been kept in contact, because that's what a lot of mothers do who give away their children for a long time now. If that's the relationship they want, and that's the relationship that the foster parents want, where the mother will literally, I got this in my family. Not that my family gave anybody away. I'm talking about people in my family did something like this. They couldn't have children, so they got a child from somebody. This chick, I don't even know if she was underage. I want to say she was underage. Maybe she was like 17 or something like that. Anyways, she sold her baby. Literally got money for the baby. The adoption agency gets money, and they pay for her college. But the agreement was, because this is what they wanted, you don't have to do this, that the foster parents and the real mother kept in touch, and they still do it to this day. It's weird to me. I was like, why are you doing this? I don't think it's good for the kid or whatever like that. I'm just saying these things happen. So this could have been a situation with her where she sold her child. She sold her child. I'm not trying to say it did happen, but just think, who would just take somebody's child off somebody's hand at 5th grade just because you like the way they can run down the street? That's weird. And look who it was. Some rich people. Just a coincidence? Just a coincidence, right? So I did a whole video on that, but I'm just trying to say, this is you just, when they tell us something, we got to question it. But we don't question it, we're not really going to get to know the real story about what's really going on. And if we don't question it, they're going to be able to keep lying, right? They're going to be able to keep lying. That's the biggest thing, is they're going to be able to keep lying. But when we look at this whole story, of him playing Michael Jordan, Ron Artest, I think said Penny Hardaway was there, Antoine Walker, whatever like this. And basically, he's saying that LeBron James dominated these NBA players. And I'm like, okay, so a sophomore, listen to this, a sophomore in high school did this to these NBA players. But yet, once he came into the NBA, what would that be, like 2-3 years later, he got dominated. As a rookie, he couldn't even make an all-star team. Couldn't make the playoffs. Shot 41% from the field. I think he shot, what was it, like 29% from three. It was horrible. It's horrible, percent from the free throw line that he shoots in the low 70s. His rookie season. To cap that off, this is the biggest, bro, when they say this was the biggest hype player of all time coming into the NBA. They didn't say high school. This is what's so crazy. It makes you want to say, what the hell are these people talking about? They're saying this is the most hype player of all time. More than Will. I think Wilt Chamberlain is basically the most hype player of all time with the most expectations. If you don't know that, then you don't even know basketball, folks. Wilt Chamberlain was. Anyways, so he was more hyped than Wilt, Russell, because you got to think about it. All these guys that I'm going to mention had some hype and some expectations coming into the NBA. Some more than the others. Okay, even Bill Walton has some. So anyways, they're saying a high school kid had the biggest hype coming into the NBA, the most expectations. So more than Michael Jordan, more than Wilt Chamberlain, more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, more than Magic Johnson, more than Kobe Bryant, more than Bill Russell, more than Tim Duncan. A lot of y'all must have even watched college basketball if you didn't know about Tim Duncan. More than Shaq. I mean, the list goes on and on. More than Hakeem. It's just mind-blowing what they're trying to say. And what caps this off, folks, is in the NBA, you're playing the best of the college players. That's what you're playing. And back then, you dudes in the 2020s don't know about real college basketball. Back in the days, Let me continue real quick. So in the NBA, you're playing the best of the college basketball players in the nation. The best. It was some guys that were great in high school and wasn't ish in college, folks. So let me let you understand what I'm saying a little bit more right here. In the NBA, you're playing the best of the college players, okay? From around the nation. I know our college ain't nothing now, but it was different back then, folks. In college, you're playing the best of the high school players across the nation. That's what college is. In high school, you're playing the best of who? Who is it? In high school, you're playing the best of who? Okay, maybe guys in your region, guys in your state, guys just trying out for the damn team. Okay? So this is who LeBron James was actually playing. And on top of that, he was playing academy school kids. See, let me try to tell you something. Back in the day, academy school in, what do you call this? What do they call this? I forget the name of it. But academy school kids and those type of kids didn't have good basketball players. Your good basketball players came from regular high schools. Okay? Now, for a long time, I would say since, maybe since the late 90s, they've been, if you're a good basketball player, they will try to shove you into the academy school to get you on their team. it don't matter. You don't even have to pay just because you're good at sports or whatever like that. But when I was growing up, no, the good players didn't go to academy school. They was playing at your school. I had a guy that went to the NBA from my school, right? So what I'm trying to say by this is that he got his hype off of playing against nobody, folks. Carmelo Anthony was playing the best of the high school players from around the nation, okay? And that's what college is. LeBron James was dunking on academy school kids and high school kids, period. You know what I'm saying? So so you're trying to tell me because of that, he was playing high school kids? He wasn't even playing the best of the high school kids from across the nation in college. He was playing high school kids in his state. Academy school kids at that. But I digress. So all these guys that I mentioned, I think, maybe except for Kobe Bryant, and he had to sit on the bench. The NBA was so difficult back then. But anyways, like I said, the guys that I mentioned, the Michael Jordans, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Bill Russells, the Shaqs, all of them, the Bird, the Magic, whatever. Their hype wasn't off of playing high school kids from academy school. They were in college, playing college kids who were the best across the whole nation. McDonald's All-Americans. That's who he was playing. These guys like that, folks. That's who they were playing. Okay? I don't mean to be mean, but I only can tell the truth. That they have destroyed the credibility of the NBA basketball period when they tell you this guy had the biggest hype of all time for dunking on academy school kids who weren't even... I'm not even going to say it again. But it's a joke. It's a joke. I have no problem with him having a hype. Like, a lot of these guys came into the NBA, like the Kobe Bryants, like the Kevin Garnett's, and so on and so on. But they weren't saying these guys are the biggest hype of all time. They didn't say these guys had the biggest expectations of all time because they knew it was bullshit. How can you have that when you're not even playing no competition in high school like that? Damn, Magic was playing Bird in college. This is a competition these guys were playing. Michael Jordan was playing Ewing in college. And so on with these all-time great college players that went to the NBA. They was playing each other in college. LeBron James wasn't doing this. Can I get an amen? No. So that summer in 2004, his rookie season, check this out, folks. They didn't even really let him play in the Olympics. He played the whole damn season, folks. And he started. The guy with the biggest hype, the biggest expectations of all time. They wouldn't even let him play. He was so deficient on offense. Couldn't shoot. And he was a liability on defense. Remember, he didn't make an all-NBA defensive team until 2009. Wow. But he was a liability on defense that they wouldn't even let him play. Remember, and I'm not trying to, put the whole Olympic thing on him at all. But he's supposed to be better than everybody on the Olympic team, right? He's supposed to be the biggest hype of all time. That's what he's supposed to do, or supposed to be. So he's supposed to come in and do outrageous things. You're supposed to be like, damn, we never seen this. We never seen this, right? He's supposed to outdo what Michael Jordan did in his rookie season, what Wilt did in his rookie season, what Larry Bird did in his rookie season, what Magic, what Shaq, what all these guys did in their rookie season, if he's supposed to be the most hype of all time, right? Whereas he didn't do nothing. Nothing. Zero. So anyways, they didn't let him play in the Olympics, although, Ginobili, a six-man. This guy was coming off the damn bench, folks. Ginobili, a six-man. Led his Argentinians with not one melanated brother, as Stephen A. Smith would say, not one melanated brother on that team. Won the championship. Right? Some plumbers. This is the legacy that LeBron James started. And then 2 years later, they got smoked by some more plumbers from Greece. With only one melanated brother on the team. That nobody even knows. And nobody knows the whole damn team. Nobody knows nothing about him. Somebody tried to tell me, oh man, you forgot about Scola, man. He was on He was on the Argentina team. Is you crazy? Scola? Did you see who was on the 04 team? These guys don't know basketball, man. Y'all got to stop. This wasn't Manu Ginobili in 07. This wasn't Manu Ginobili in 06 or 2009, 10. This was Manu Ginobili coming off the damn bench. This wasn't Manu Ginobili that was on the, Spurs dynasty team. This was 2004. They won't become a dynasty until 2007 on LeBron James. What a coincidence, folks. Or he would get his 7th ring. The first white guy who is John Barry. The first white guy who won the dunk contest also got a ring on LeBron James. Who's that guy we always thinking about? We can't believe he got a ring because we just can't even believe this guy got a ring. Oh my God, what's his name? Was it Jamal Mashburn? I think it was Jamal Mashburn. You let Jamal Mashburn get a ring, man. Now, I ain't saying Jamal Mashburn was trash, but we never thought Jamal Mashburn would actually get a championship. Because the NBA was just tough back then. Let me see. Was it him? Let me look this up real quick. Y'all stop playing, man. I just got to make sure I'm right. Jamal Mashburn. He was a decent player, too. No, it wasn't Jamal Mashburn. Who was that? Let me see. 07 Spurs. Let me see. 07. Who was that? I'm trying to tell you. It's somebody I saw on that roster. I never thought they would get a ring. Who is this? That was Brett Barry, not John Barry. Michael Finley. That's who it is. Michael Finley. Yep. Michael Finley came in. When he came into the league? 1995. And he played for, Phoenix. Then he went to Dallas. I remember him in Dallas. He only played with Phoenix for like one season. And then, then he went to San Antonio. As a matter of fact, he was on. No, he wasn't. Hold on. No. One championship with them. He came in 05, 06. Yeah. Michael Finley. Yeah, he was a good player, man. He had some skills. But, getting back to this, man. Woo, Jimmy low roller, man. This guy swoops low, and can't even believe he would even bring up this whole thing again. It was over. It was done. Nobody believed it. And he's out here promoting this. He's out here promoting this trash. We don't even know if this guy's real. He could just be an AI voice or whatever like that. Something like that. But like I said, it's just weird. He dominated NBA players. How come we didn't hear this story back then? Did you hear this story back then? I never heard this story. Never heard this story back in the early 2000s. I never heard it. Now, the official story is, if this is even the same one, that he got in there and then, he didn't get in the game and start playing until they had already scrimmaged with each other, all the NBA players. So they just let him in on the back end to play. And that's when he dominated. When they were like, oh, just go ahead and play. This is what I don't get. I will say this until this guy retires. That, the people that promote this nonsense for this guy acts like his career just started. Or he's 10 years into it. Like, he still has a chance to right his wrongs or to be the greatest of all time. Something like that. You did it wrong. Some people say you cheated. You did it the wrong way. And you still didn't come out on top. And like we were saying earlier, it's kind of like a lesson to the kids. This ain't the way you do it. Or this is what happens. You can't cheat your way or do it the wrong way to the top. So now, it was to the point about 2018, after he got blown out in the finals again, 6 finals blowout losses. He never seen a game 7 in all 6 finals losses. How is that possible? Not a game 7 in any of them? Goodness God. So now we got to start paying off the media. The problem with this whole scenario is, why would the NBA even let something like this happen? Because we all know back when we was watching the NBA in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, even people watching in the 60s, 70s, the NBA wouldn't let that happen. You did your time to, get where you wanted to get based on however you did it. And okay, that was it. Now we're going to put it on a scale and judge it. We had to judge everybody's career on a damn scale. Right? From the Mike Mikens, from the Bill Russells, to the Koozies, to the Jerry West, to the Dr. J's, to the Wilts, to the Michael Jordans, to the Karl Malones, to the Hakeems, to every great player. They got put on that scale and we waited. And some went here, some went there, some went there. It is what it is. We've seen it. But for LeBron James, for some reason, he don't get it. For some reason, the NBA stopped getting it. That his career was put on the scale a long time ago, and that was it. Now you can't pay people off to lie. The NBA has become that bad, folks, and we gotta stop putting this solely on LeBron James. It goes on the NBA as a business. It goes against the NBA players. It goes against the coaches. It goes against the GM. It goes against the owners. It goes against the commissioner. All of them, for them to let this happen. And what happened was, this guy got his hype. That's fine. He didn't come through to be a leader to win a championship. So he wanted to go team up with, we can say, 3 different teams. And he came out 4-6 and he got curb stomped. He choked, he melted down. He didn't show up. And he couldn't be a leader to his team, even with his super team. So all that's over, folks. It goes on a scale and it gets weighed. Just like everybody else, every great other player, their career got put on a scale and it got weighed. Okay? So to me, it's the NBA's fault that they let this happen. Let this guy start paying off the media and destroy the NBA. It's over, bro. It was over in 2018. If you want to say 2020, whatever. It was over. You went 4-6, and everything else that happened, that's where you are. I mean, the NBA should be literally investigated for what they have, the people who've been in power since, I would say since LeBron James went to Miami until now, that it should be investigated. How they have destroyed the NBA like this. It makes no sense. This dude has destroyed these other guys' careers and took their shine. The guys from the 2020s, the Jokers, the Lucas, the Anthony Edwards, the Tatums, just all these guys, folks. I mean, these guys aren't even the face of their own, their era, the 2020s. That's crazy. It makes zero sense at all. Kevin Durant did what he did. And we ain't going to talk about Kevin Durant. But the NBA is sad, man. This ain't what we grew up on. It's a sad time in NBA, man. I want to apologize to young people. This has been an embarrassment. An embarrassment for NBA. I guess you can see why now, the guys from the past don't speak up. Because they know the NBA is over. They already know. They already know. And all these guys out here trying to say all this dumb stuff. Listen, folks, these guys are just trying to make money. That's it. They don't, the JxMyHighroller, all these people from Bleacher Report, whoever, they don't believe LeBron James is the top 5. Hell, Rich Paul don't believe LeBron James is a top 5 player. All this is poking a bear. All this is trigger stuff, right? They already set this whole thing up. Since LeBron James couldn't be one of the top 10 great players of all time, they're just going to make money off of a lie. So now, on YouTube, if you even want to make any money half the time, you got to say LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James. I look at people's videos. I don't care. I'm not monetized. But, if LeBron James ain't in your title, you ain't making no money. And they set this up like this. Yep. They set it up like this so LeBron James can make money. Now, I've always said, to me, he's not a top 10, 25 greatest player of all time. He just ain't. He don't possess it. What skills does he do at a high level? Can't shoot the mid-range, can't shoot free throws, can't shoot the 3, can't give you no paint work. What can he do? He can't give you 10 assists a game. 1 year in a damn bubble. Horrible rebounder, 7 rebounds a game, the biggest guy in the game the past 15 years. What does he do? Can't lead a bunch of nobodies to the championship. Remember the bunch of nobodies in Cleveland? Those guys were all number 2s on other teams that he went and got them. They weren't guys from the draft. All these guys, except for Ilgauskas, when he started, going to the playoffs in 2006, 7, 8, 9, all these guys were number 2s on other teams. I ain't trying to say they were Hall of Famers, but they could have been if his ass would have won, but they were number 2s on other teams. He ain't no leader. He ain't no top 25 player to me. So, like I was saying, he's not a top 25 player, but he is a great businessman. They done put this together. Don't think he's stupid. Him and Kobe was real good friends. A lot of people have been saying lately, oh, I don't know how him and Kobe could be friends and all this stuff, and Kobe would never be. No, him and Kobe were good friends. If not best friends. They was friends like that. Okay? Kobe was just a greater basketball player. LeBron James is basically a number 2 paraded around as a number 1. That's what he is. But everything LeBron James does, he is a business move. Oh, you didn't see LeBron James at Kobe's funeral? It's a business move. You didn't see him at the statue unveiling? It's a business move. Oh, get the media to talk bad about Kobe. It's a business move, folks. It's a business move because you always talking about LeBron James. LeBron James is making that money. He could remember what they tell you? They say this guy got $1 billion. He's still running the court. Wait, still running the court with it? Okay, yeah, believe that if he wants. No, this guy ain't got no $1 billion. It's another narrative. Nobody buys his jerseys. Nobody buys his shoes. Nothing. How do you get a loser, a quitter, a choke artist, a meltdown artist, a guy who did it wrong, a guy who 4-6 in the finals got $1 billion? Yeah, believe that if you want. But it's a business deal. When they say he's got $1 billion, it brings his value up. Right? So for LeBron James, it's just been all about business, right? Him building these super teams, right? It ain't about winning. It's about business. So wherever he goes, now he's got a super team. He's got, now you're going to pay more for popcorn, merch, hot dogs, tickets, whatever. You're going to be paying outrageous rates for him to go back to Cleveland. And then or go to Miami. You pay all that money. That's a rich town. Now you go back to Cleveland. They got rich people there. They got money. Don't think they don't. Not like Miami or LA, but they still got money. Rich people go see the games and stuff like that. So he go back to Cleveland. Money again. Money generated for the NBA, money for for the owner. Well, then he goes to LA again. More money. So this isn't about, being the best of all time. It's about money, folks. Bringing his son in. It's about money again. Okay? That's why you got Clutch Sports. It's about being a businessman, paying people off to, in the media to say this, and YouTube content creators. It's about money. The more you talk about him, the more money he's going to make. That's how it works on social media. It's business. So the dude is not, to me, in the top 25 basketball player, but to me, he's one of the greatest sports businessmen of all time. A guy with a resume like he has, and the shit that he done did wrong, and he's making all this money doing all this stuff. It's a good businessman. It's a good businessman. He's coming out on top on this. But yeah, this is one of his cronies, JxMyHighroller, with this bullshit story that done got debunked, made a fool out of. Now he's trying to bring it back up. Like, these guys, I'm trying to tell you, they run out of stuff to talk about. There's really no greatness to talk about in his career. Most of it is just narratives and trying to change trying to change the narrative, trying to change history, trying to rewrite history. That's all they got to talk about this guy. There's no greatness when you talk about the things that Magic Johnson did, or Bird did in their career, or Michael Jordan or Kobe or something like that. These guys like that, we talk about greatness. No. What you got with LeBron? Some stats? That's his greatness. That's his great. I got to get my stats first. And then if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. Right? We probably going to win because the East is weak and we got a stacked super team, but I got to get my stats. Oh boy, y'all tell me what you think with this Jimmy Low Roller. And like I said, I don't watch his videos. The last time I paid attention when he was like done with the 90s, and I thought he made a video Jordan couldn't go left. Other than that, I don't even, when his videos come up in my feed, I see him and I'm like, oh man, some more nonsense. I don't even watch him. I don't pay attention because he has no credibility no more. He ain't got no credibility for me to question his videos or go back and forth about his videos every time he makes a video, because we already know what he's about, right? He might be a bot. He might, probably work for Clutch Sports, or he takes money from Clutch, like Johnny Arnett, something like that. But you gotta remember, there's no more dignity. There's no more caring. There's no more. I don't know this world, man. It's just all about money, man. Push. Gimme. That's all this world's about now. They don't care. They don't care about the truth. It's all about money. It's more money to be made on lies and trigger stuff with the NBA, because the NBA ain't got no credibility no more. The fans don't like their product. So we were talking about ESPN brought down that post of the icons that they put all these damn WNBA players in there. They put ESPN studio people in there. It was just a whole bunch of dumb stuff that they did, and they put icons in iconic moments. But most of these people ain't got no iconic moments and are not icons. So this is where we are today. They thought they would put this icon mirror up to trigger people, to make people pissed off. This is supposed to be $1 billion company, and this is what they got to do now to get attention. ESPN to piss their own consumer off, to where they got a backlash so bad they had to take it down. It didn't make any sense what they did, but this is where we are today, folks. I feel sorry for the young people, man.